Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm Christopher Dahl. Hey, welcome to Space Art Live on YouTube. We already got a full house here. That's awesome. And hello, Edward Bartlett. Glad you're looking forward to it. I am too. Thanks for joining. And we got Jean-Marc. Greetings. Jean-Marc says he will be a spectator tonight. And that's perfectly fine. I appreciate you spectating. Good luck on the project here. So congratulations. And we have Wes. Hello, Wes. And I'm sure Krista's there too. So hello, Krista. Hello. And Susan. And greetings. Hello. Hello. And Rhonda. Wonderful. It's so good to see everybody back here tonight. I'm so sorry I didn't finish last week's painting. It never fails. There's always like some silly thing that goes wrong with Chris's live stream. So, if nothing else, I'm consistent, right? Anyhow, if you're just joining or you're just watching this for the first time, I'm Christopher Dahl, space artist. It says so on the sign behind me right over there. There you go. Go ahead and if you like the stream, hit the like button, please. I really appreciate it. It helps a lot. And feel free to subscribe as well. We're still working on some really cool things coming up here. And got links in the description too. If you're so inclined and wish to own space art of your very own, perhaps even one of our very own live stream paintings, you could purchase them through the web store there. All proceeds go towards keeping the lights on and keeping our cats fed. We are still at 20 cats plus 4 outdoor ones. You love a good two-parter. Thank you. I shouldn't knock the two-parters, right, Rhonda? Because honestly, I know from experience that when I split the paintings, I usually end up with a better painting, and I think that's going to be an important thing going forward. Getting better paintings, getting them more finished, that sort of thing. And really, I like where this one was going, so I'm kind of glad we can come back and revisit it. And so, yeah, wonderful. Anyhow, let's go ahead and kick right on over to the table. The the problem I had last week, I think I've eliminated it. There's software that runs the camera, and it turns out I didn't need it. I could just plug it straight in and let OBS do its thing. I know it's technical details, but the short of it is I'm hopeful that I have eliminated the problem. So that just means we don't have any idea what's coming up next. Wes asked, do I know space artist Chris Moore? I know of Chris Moore. Sadly, he just passed, and I personally didn't know him. I believe he wasn't part of the International Association of Space Artists, so I never interacted with him much. But many of my space art colleagues, if you will, illustrators and people that I just kind of know through the internet were very familiar with Chris Moore. Chris Moore was a very talented, extremely talented painter, illustrator, and he also specialized a lot in science fiction art with some really great stuff. He's definitely one that has always appeared in the books. It's sadly he passed away, and it's unfortunate I wasn't able to meet him in person. I'm not that I'm going to be able to meet too many of them, but I am looking forward to at some point. It would be actually really nice, and part of the reason for the move was to put me maybe closer. But Chris Moore lived in England, so my chances of getting over there are a little bit less than they used to be. I certainly don't have Expedia footing the bill for my trips to England, London specifically, which is fine because I really don't want to ever work for anybody like that. Anyway, not anymore. Wes says, I'm actually following a YouTube channel of a guy who's building a huge recording studio in Sweden, and it turns out the guy's his son. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, in Sweden, you say? That's very, very cool. Yeah, I'm very happy that he's going through. I know it's got to be tough. It's never easy, right? So yeah, my condolences to Chris Moore and his family. He definitely left a huge impression in the space art world. So yeah. Arts of Space! Greetings, Arts of Space! You happen to be painting along with me. Oh, cool. If you could share it, go ahead and drop it in the Discord. That would be super cool. And yeah, I'll leave the Discord link. I keep forgetting to do some of that stuff. So let me grab the Discord link here. If you're so inclined, you're welcome to drop in on the Discord and share your things. And we generally get some fun stuff on there. There we go. Awesome. Awesomeness. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back on over here. I did move my setup again a little bit. It looked like I kept turning my head constantly. It was so annoying. So we got it a little bit closer there. Yeah, super talented in his own right, multi-talented. That's really God recording studio. And now I'm messing around with music enough to the point where I can see the appeal. of that. Oh yeah, I should literally do a guitar stream someday. That can you? Oh, it's back. It's back behind my laptop. Yeah, yeah. I'm terrible at it. I wouldn't inflict that upon you. Uh, what was the Monty Python bit where he's like, "Greetings, everyone. I've suffered from my music. Now it's your turn." Also, I saw a new sci-fi book series that had some awesome space art that you'll put on Discord. I think you'll dig it. Awesome. Very, very cool. I'm always into it. In fact, I just shared, for those of you on Patreon, I just shared my latest book cover. Since it's not released yet, I only share those with the closed community over there. And it's really fun. I had a great time with it. My thanks go out to J. Fitzpatrick Malden, who really is an excellent writer too. So looking forward to firing a few more of those up. It was a good time. Yeah, it's wild. I would work on some of those projects, live, but I kind of it kind of feels weird to me when you're working on client work and sharing it with the public. I've known some people that have said, yeah, hey, that's cool, we could do that, but I don't know. I just kind of wasn't kind of my thing, I just it makes me a little weird. Anyhow, let's get on with the painting, everyone, shall we? All right. Last week we started with this really crazy space station that has some. Actually, I'm gonna try to move this whole table over a bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm also keeping my phone handy so I can see all the stuff. There we go. So the inspiration for this was a design from the movie, well, the Planet of the Apes movie that Tim Burton did. I just like that sort of cruciform ship. So we kind of got the main colors blocked in here. I got a little bit of the background, got some detail on the station. And the very next thing I was going to do when the camera died was kind of go back in so we can get some of those cool, juicy details in the station. Yeah. So I'm going to do that. And as a refresher, in case people are just jumping in on this, the paint we're using is this Richardson Casein. Casein is a water-based paint. Acts a heck of a lot like gouache, if you will. And I'll see if I can pull this over and mix it up. I have my little miniature paint palette here. I paint on glass because it's just cool. Painting on glass is cool. Arts of Space, are you painting on glass? You better be painting on glass, man. It aren't cool. No, I'm kidding. You could do a paint palette on anything you want. But I have these little glass plates here. What I need to do is get a black. Maybe I could just fire up some ivory black. Um, let's do that. I was gonna mix up a combination of alizarin. No, let's do. I take that back. I want. I don't really want to just do black, right? I think I'm going to mix my own. This would be called mixing chromatic black. So what we have is a Shiva, I think is what they call it. I don't know what the Shiva name stands for. It must be. I should know that. It's the name is on a bunch of their paints, so it's either somebody related to the Richardsons or something. But I have violet, and it's actually this violet right here. I toned it down. It's a really hot, excuse me, hot violet. All right, so I've got that, and then I've got some alizarin crimson, which is a little different than the quinacridone magenta that I usually use. But by mixing the purple and the alizarin crimson, we're going to get something that's kind of close to black. So, yeah. I have painted on acrylic panels, but it was such a pain to keep the paint on it and not ruin the painting. Oh, yeah, I don't mean the painting itself. Although I have painted on glass before, I just meant the palette, the the whole, where you mix your paint, right? So, taking advantage of my camera here, I'm gonna go ahead and just show the process, right? Show the process. It's actually that still remained pretty purple, so I'm going to add a little bit of my raw umber. See if we can't get this into more of a gray here. Whoa, I now whoa, gosh, that's hilarious. These paints have been sitting for a while. Some of them are a little funky, so I got a little bit of the. It looks like it's separated from the medium a little bit. Casein medium is very strange. It has a peculiar odor to it. It's not a solvent odor. It just kind of reminds me of something like a cleaning agent of some kind. So I think the chemistry of whatever goes into these paints is very similar to um, like a cleaning agent. Yeah, easy enough. Cleaning agent, cleaning. Can I say cleaning agent more times than one? No, I'm not sure. Anyhow, all right. So this still has a tone to it, which is fine. As you can see, if you spread it out, it's very, very purple. Wow, that is very purple. Yes, indeed. You know what I'm going to do with that then? I'm just going to add a little bit of my ivory black. Oh yes, I have glass palettes. Yeah, using disposable. Disposables are cool too. I don't want to make it. I used to use a lot. I used to use disposables all the time. So yeah, it yeah, especially if you're on the move, if you're traveling. Sometimes it makes it pretty easy. So yeah, I just like explaining it for the sake of going through the basics, and I have mixed up so much of this. What was I thinking? I mean, this would be enough for me to do the entire damn painting. Good job, Chris. Good job. Yeah, just waste your paint. I'm gonna move this up a little bit and then do a little cleanup on the palette here. Damn knife. Ah, damn knife. I recently did an entire painting where I didn't really use brushes at all, except for like some effects. I was basically all paint palette. It was a lot of fun. I will tell you right now. So it was good time. Where'd my garbage go? Ah, lost me garbage. All right, let's do that, and I'm gonna just do a little cleanup on the palette. There we go. Hopefully not spread it all the way over there onto the painting itself. There we go. I think with luck this is going to register as black in our painting. Casein is also water based, so I've got a little jar of water basically off camera here that we'll be using. Very cool. All righty. Da, 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 da. Music. I should probably put some music on. That would probably be a good time. Orbital Hub says art power. Yes, the power of art. How you doing tonight? Welcome aboard. We're gonna gather here and do some art. But yeah, so I had some really fun details in the painting here that I kind of covered up a little bit, and that's just because I was sort of shading things. In fact, I probably should pre-shade some of these other areas, but I don't think I'm going to do that quite yet. All right. Um, I've got a real thin brush here that is a lot of paint on it. Way too much for good measure. There we go. All righty. Rolling up the sleeves. What's the inspiration tonight? Looks, thank you. There was the 1990 movie, the Planet of the Apes movie, the one that Tim Burton did at the very beginning, with Marky Mark, had this kind of weird space station that was sort of drifting in the middle of nowhere, and that I always liked that design, and I just sort of yeah, I kind of comped that for our efforts here tonight, and that's the inspiration. Plus, I just kind of wanted to show a couple of ships, like sort of like it's a yeah, Trade Federation. There we go. So it's kind of like a Deep Space Nine or a Babylon 5 kind of a situation, but you know, not affiliated with any major network or show. We're just gonna do the thing here. It's really just a vehicle, the painting that is, just a vehicle for me to paint some cool spacey details and things. So, yeah, that's about as far as I went with it. Although, oh, I've kept forgetting to post that. One of my first digital paintings, way back in the day, was a similar scene when I was just kind of, I was stuck in my tech job for a long time, and I just decided that's it. I've got an art tablet. I am basically professional level Photoshop guy. There's no reason why I shouldn't be painting, digital paintings. And I did a scene very similar to this, very similar. But yeah, trade. It's interesting you mentioned Trade Federation. I feel like this would. I'm gonna turn it over. I feel like this would definitely. No, that's wrong. This would definitely qualify as Trade Federation style, right? With those although they had that sphere at the beginning. I actually really liked the Trade Federation designs. For all the grief that the prequels get, deservedly. Uh, I did like some of the designs, especially in the Phantom Menace. There were some cool ships in the Phantom Menace. I Someone had asked me what was one of my favorite ships from the prequel era, and really their version of the Tantive 4 blockade runner, the very first spaceship you see in the Phantom Menace, I think intentionally for that matter, was a variation of it. I liked that one, but it had three engines instead of like the 11 that the Tantive 4 has. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Trade Federation plus skyscraper design. Exactly. Yes. So this is sort of an end of the arm coming out here. So I figured this would probably be where, maybe they're constructing the station. I don't know. But yeah, we're just gonna go with it. Have some fun painting spacey things. This is actually I like this part of the painting when you can kind of come in and work with the things you've developed and really fill out the details. You can make corrections, and there's just enough information here where you can just sort of let your brain go and ignore the rest of the fucking world. Yeah, there we go. Da, da, da. And get some things, get some spacey details in. There we go. Yeah. Also, Jar Jar. No trash talk about Jar Jar. Listen, Jar Jar Binks was the original hero of the first trilogy. How you doing, Andrew? I tons and tons of mad respect for the gentleman who played Jar Jar Binks, and Ahmed Best. Thank you, man. That guy took so much shit for stuff that was way out of his control. Right? I mean, I never could build up that kind of animosity for someone. Uh, hey, glad to catch you. Looking forward to seeing this finish. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing it finish too, which is the same thing I was saying about my poor author's painting this week that was dreadfully late as usual. If nothing else, I'm consistent. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite memes is the Jar Jar ground meat. Misa delicious. Yeah. Yeah, Jake Lloyd too. I mean, he took a ton of shit for just being in that movie, which is, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I hate it. Anyhow, I will stop. Yes. Um. Anyhow, enough. We've got a space station here, so we are just gonna keep adding our little detail window. I mean, this is kind of like a silly trick of mine. I get this from John Berkey style paintings, where basically you add in enough spaces where you could throw in lights and details. So that's kind of the step we're on right now. Yeah, but I would like to. I've been threatening to do more live streams. I really need to. So, if you have a preferred date and time that you would be like, hey, you know what? This would be a really great time to just kick back, ignore work, and watch a live stream, somebody painting space art. Feel free to drop it in chat. I'm taking notes, and also for those on the Discord, feel free to drop that in there as well. very much looking forward to doing doing more of these. Maybe I could turn it into a, you know, if it's a painting like this, where I know that it's going to be like 2, 3 days of, a couple of hours each, then I think it'd be really cool to just kind of spread it out a little bit, get some more time in there with all those other things I keep talking about doing. Yeah, all of that. Oh boy. It's all kind of just part of the learning process. What do we want to do anyhow? But keep your eyes open on the YouTube channel. I am about to drop a couple of couple of, oh, I don't even know how I would call it. A couple of tricky things. Now it's going to be hilarious. For those of you that have enjoyed the model work that's been done on the live stream, Wes, I'm looking at you and many others. Um, I've got a model video that I'm almost finished with. Yes, so that's going to be exciting. It's going to be like nothing you've ever seen before from Space Art by Christopher Dahl. And I can say that with great confidence because I've never done anything like this before. It'll be fun and insane. Um, yeah, I'm kind of. I might have to push the insane part of my repertoire here just a little bit. Just kind of just lose your mind to art and entertainment, right? So coming soon. Anyhow, am I still in camera? Yes, I'm still in camera. There we go. Gotcha. And this is still in camera. Yes, it is. I have this terrible habit of, like, I'll be working on something and it goes off screen. I was rewatching the video of the Millennium Falcon and Blockade Runner that we did, the models, and I was like, "Geez, keep the thing in screen. What the heck is professional live stream, right?" Yeah, we're on it, folks. We're totally on that. We'll get that. We're gonna get that taken care of right away. And if you're following along for paint trips, notice that I'm keeping the painting moving, just so I have a better angle to attack the problem and the spaces on the space art. Is that redundant? I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay. Bum bum bum. Andrew, I did move my monitor, but I don't think I moved it enough this week. I think I'm still kind of stretching over to watch it, but it works out well. In spite of the extra room I have in my studio, I do have a lot of room. I back myself into a corner for the studio part here, and I don't think I'm taking full advantage of the situation and the space. So yeah, we'll just be working on that later. Da, da, da. All right, so I'm doing these like crazy window cutout things, and we'll get these in. Definitely a darker paint than this. Look at that. What I thought was almost black. Maybe it's hard to see. Yeah, it's probably way too hard to see. Um, Turned out to be it was kind of a dark gray. Yeah, it's not like you're in a closet in the giant basement. No, no, not at all. No, not at all. Chris is painting in the closet. Stop. No, I'm not. Nope. Tom Cruise is in the closet. Oh, I'm sorry. Years ago I watched a lot of South Park, but. Oh, joy and deviltry. It's that time of life right now for joy and deviltry, right? I think so. I think joy and deviltry are called for. Anyhow, yay. So I'm going to continue to make this sort of the space dock, if you will, and maybe these ships that are surrounding it are on their way in. The way I like to think of it is this is a home away from home for wayward travelers, an outpost set up for commerce and refueling, and who knows. Nobody puts Christopher out in the corner. How you doing, mediocre? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, it all mixes together, right? It totally does. I mean, really, seriously. Oop, too much paint. I always struggle with that. Whether it's Casein or a few of the others, I feel like half the time I'm just trying to work towards the optimal um, fluid level for the paint, depending on what I'm trying to do, and that that's always sort of the big chase, right? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get in here. Analog art rocks. I think so. There's a I will say, having now done this for, gosh, working on almost 5 years now, actually 4 years. The oh shit. Oh, sorry. I'll get to that in a second. I, I do enjoy the analog painting quite a bit. I don't know. There's a joy you get from it that is unmatched by digital work. I as much as I love the digital work that I have done and continue to do, and I do love the flexibility and the possibilities that are afforded through digital work. Traditional art has a, I don't know, it has a charm and just a level of satisfaction that you kind of don't get um, from just constantly relying on a CPU. Plus, you could do it anywhere. If the power goes out, it's like, hey, I guess I can paint by candlelight. True enough. Yes. Alrighty. So it occurs to me just as I'm sitting here right now, and this ought to give all of you an idea of just how aware I am of my surroundings. March 10th is the designated anniversary date of our live stream. It was March 10th, 2019, that I first fired this up at the very beginnings of the pandemic. Um, a lot of people started this kind of stuff during the pandemic, and for me, I was already sort of prepared to do the live stream, but I just hadn't gotten off my butt and done it. So really, for me, the pandemic was more of a the proper excuse, right, to really pull it together. And we are now coming up on it, and every year I have done a big oil painting that I have given away, which will be really interesting because I don't have anything set up on my YouTube stream to do a giveaway, unlike what I had when I was on Twitch. So I will see about that, or maybe I'll just designate a different day for it. Who knows? But anniversaries are cool. Anniversaries are cool. Alrighty. The principle of this station is that all the living areas are kind of up along here, and then the spine is probably, all of the power supply. It's the IT department is what it is. Everything below, right? Get down to IT. Reboot the space station. It needs a, just turn it back off. Turn it off and turn it back on. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So that all happens down here. So yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Ba-ba-ba-boom. So the other cool thing is casein does dry kind of about the same rate that acrylic dries, or gouache for that matter. So as I've gone through and gotten all these, I'm going to approach these space jeeps that are up here to give them a little extra pizzazz. And it's interesting too. I've come back to this now after last week's painting, and I've noticed all of the background kind of dried very, how would you call it? It when it dries, everything takes on a different tone, which is also shared with acrylic. You have to be aware of the fact that sometimes you get a little tone shift in the drying process, and that's definitely a case here. Um, so I'm going to connect this one up together. I want this one over there. I don't want too many of these breaks. It's making me uncomfortable. So I think that I do want to kind of finesse the background a little bit as well, but there's such wide areas, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Anyhow, yeah. So yeah, I'd like to. I've been wanting to do more of the live streams, and I feel like I've definitely delayed and way too much. So if you get a day or time that feels like, yeah, I think this would be a good one, please drop it in the comments, and we'll or drop it on Discord, and I will see if I can fire more up. We're gonna do a few more things. Plus, I want to get back into doing a couple more models. That was a lot of fun to do. Maybe we can even break it out, and we could do some crazy um, abstract kind of painting. I don't know. Maybe I could do the who's it? Paul. I can't think of his name right now. I follow him on Instagram, and he does these fantastic New York scenes. Basically, starts by throwing paint and then happy accidents his way through the rest of it, and they've got such a wonderful abstract quality to them. I love it. It's just so stinking cool. So I kind of dig this style, dig that style, I should say, and yeah, maybe we could do that. Monday morning, 4 a.m. would be amazing. All right, Jean Marc, I will do exactly that, and I will give you a wake up call. Wait a second. John Mark, you were I forget, we're in Montreal, right? So I think where I'm at, in the south of you, which I'll leave it at that, uh, I think we're almost in the I think we're in the same time zone. I could be wrong. I can't remember. September 24th, 2028 at 3 a.m. sounds like a good day to me. For a while there, I was worried that maybe I couldn't count on chat to come back with some really good times. But thank you. You're all awesome. Yes, you all deserve a promotion too, by the way. Uh, Mainly for putting up with me. But beyond that, all right. I'm gonna wash off the old brush here, and we're gonna make use of this same color. Um, da-da-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. But I'm gonna switch to a flatter brush. Same time zone. Yeah, that's what I thought too. So okay, 4 a.m. All right, you got it, sir. The, the chances are that by the time 4 a.m. rolls around, I'm probably just getting to bed. The way things have been going anymore. But yeah. All right, so I'm gonna come in kind of. I'm just kind of diluting down that same black, sort of purpley black that we had here, just a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can't affect the background a little bit and see if we can bring it together. Yes, indeed. We're gonna just try to try to do this. I had some thoughts about what I wanted to do in this area, but I'm finding that the contrast now is just not where I wanted it to be. I do like the crazy red orange nebula that I've got going on in the bottom of this, so that we are certainly keeping. But I kind of I felt like this dried a little too bright in here, so we're gonna just come in and be we're gonna darken this all up, yeah, which is really great because like I said before, once this unlike gouache case or watercolor casein, once it dries it does not reactivate with water. If you came in on a gouache painting like this, you would pretty much be you'd stand the danger of smudging whatever was underneath you and underneath the painting part, and that could be no bueno. So yeah, we're just gonna come right in, give this a little love here. Um, but yeah, you can kind of see it's almost a wine color when you really thin it out instead of it being like a straight black. And I really wanted that to work this way, which will help push this red right through the eyeballs of the viewer seeing the painting. Yeah. And I have to tell you, if you've never seen one of these casein paintings in person after they're done, eh, I don't know. There's such a cool quality to this stuff. It really holds its tone and really nicely. Actually, the color on it is phenomenal. Even when you're doing the classic no color, but or the muddy colors, right? Very important. All right. And I think I'm going to just kind of lightly do some of those. How did you get into Casein painting? The only artist I know of using it is James Gurney. Great question, Arts of Space. Thank you. Uh, the other artist that I am sort of familiar with and has always been an inspiration for me as a painter is John Berkey. And his paintings were mostly done with an in-house combination of casein and acrylic. He would literally um, mix up his own colors, and he had about what 20 different colors in a paint palette that he would use. And I believe that's a technique that he picked up from his days as an advertising painter back in the 60s, early 60s. He was doing advertising paintings. He worked for a calendar company and magazines, that sort of thing. So when you look at some of the books by John Berkey, a lot of the paintings in there aren't the spaceships and sci-fi scenes that he's so known for. There's a lot of like, there's farm scenes, there's fishing, wildlife, boating. Um, it was he really cut his chops doing advertising work, just kind of illustrating anything. In fact, I don't think he was really much of a fan of science fiction in general. It was well paying for him, and he could do it. There's a video I had saved that somebody had visited his studio, and he was talking about his relationship to sci-fi and the movies. They wanted him for Star Wars. They wanted him as one of the artists for Star Wars, but they wanted him to move from his home. And oh gosh, now I'm going to forget where he lived. He was kind of like what I did. He lived way in the East Coast. Didn't want to leave his house. I don't blame him. He had a killer art studio in his house. So anyway, that's when I was reading about his work. That's when I first heard of Casein, and I thought maybe I should try it out. But it wasn't until I started following James Gurney. I mentioned him in the last live stream. He was the one responsible for the Dinotopia series, and he talked a lot about casein, uses it in his videos, and he actually has some really good tutorials and some really good material on how to use casein on his site. But yeah, so those are really the two biggest, and I've since learned there are a number of people doing casein work, but it's just not that popular. In fact, the paints are still sold and readily available, but it's kind of weird how it's sort of not as mainstream as it is. It's a gorgeous paint. Once I did a test set. I think I got a set of like 8 colors plus like white. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Most of the colors are pretty deep and saturated, so most casein painters, you'll be buying this size of white versus all of your paint tubes. You go through a lot of white. It's really a fun paint to work with. So yeah. Ba-ba-da. Did you know about lettering paint? Jean Marc asks. One shot or poster? Would you say it's similar to casein? Um, that I'm not sure, Jean Marc. I'd like to check it out, but I believe one shot and poster paint are the similarity they have with casein is they're very opaque, right? I'll be doing this shortly. I'm going to be able to go over some of this with the lighter colors, and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, I think that's really where the extent ends. It's possible poster paint. A lot of poster paints are tempera. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't think they're casein, but what is where casein is used frequently in paint are furniture painters. People that do restoration of furniture. If you've ever seen, um, like a piece of older furniture, mid-century or something, or someone fixes it up and then paints it a brilliant green color. Casein paint is excellent for that. It's a very tough paint once you get it down, which is really cool. But it's also a little brittle. So I'm painting here on some really thick illustration board that Crescent um, puts out. You wouldn't want to paint on canvas with casein. So yeah, it's very fun. John Berkey has great sci-fi art. Oh my god, he totally does. Yes. Didn't know it was casein. Yeah, it's not just casein though. Um, he actually would mix um, he'd mix acrylic paint or acrylic medium with it. I'm not entirely sure why. There's got to be like a reason for it. Maybe the casein mediums at the time weren't as tough as they've become. I don't really know why you would mix acrylic and casein, or the colors might not have been available, so he's got like combinations of both. I've never been able to determine that, and I really wish I could find the guy that visited him, because it's a 5-minute video. It was just before he passed away, and I would have loved to have seen more of what his studio had. It would have been really neat. Anyhow, all right, let's see how we're doing here. I'm gonna shade. I'm gonna get some shading in here now, and for that, I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this filbert. I'm also going to continue to use the same color because the shadow zones are kind of going to be impacted by the purples we've got going in here. And I'm just going to see where we can pull this. So I'm going to try to get the ship here just a bit. That might be a little too much. There we go. Yeah, there we are. We're just going to darken this up. In this painting, with a lot of them, the light's coming in from the top, and it's kind of coming in at an angle this way. So some of these wings that I'm depicting here are going to be partially in shadow, with just some top pieces showing. And yeah, there we go. It's just building up layers of detail, right? And again, to the flexibility of casein, now I'm using it like a wash, like a watercolor wash, and it actually does very, very well as a watercolor wash. Surprisingly so. All right, let's see if I can do this without smudging these too much. Okay, we need a shadow right along here, and we're gonna do that and that. One of the things I've actually I've studied John Berkey's paintings, and we're fortunate in that I have photos of some of his paintings in different stages of being painted. So I've been able to sort of see how he would layer things up, and I'm sure, like with any painting, it was a little different depending on the painting, right? But he was very good at detailing, but he was excellent at light. The guy knew his light. Like when it's clear this is somebody that was painting thousands of paintings on a schedule. So yeah, there's only a few ways you get to know light that well, and mostly it's practice, right? Yeah, there we go. Gonna get a little bit there. We're gonna get a little bit under here. Let's get a little water. There we go. I'm a little afraid of this. I don't want to go too crazy. Doop. Okay, there we go. Doop. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba. I'll leave a little edge there just to get some reflected light. Yeah, there we are. And then we'll get the other side. I'm turning it over so I can use the natural arc of my arm here. This is a very important thing when you're doing illustration, pen, paint, what have you. Your arm, of course, bend it at the elbow, and you will be able to just sort of go to town. Look at that. I am not even painting off those dark marks yet. That's good to see. And we're getting some depth and color where we're turning it from a flat object into more of a 3D thing, and that's the goal, right? That is the goal. Oh, forgot a side. Forgot this side right here. Gotta get this side. All right. Yeah, Yeah, there we go. I don't mind if we get a little bit over those. Oh, this guy would be in shadow. Yeah, that guy would be in shadow. All right. The one thing this is missing, though, I don't have a lot of warm tones. So I think when we get to the highlight stage, instead of me just going over it with a light color, I'm going to work a couple of them. I think that'll work in our favor. Okay. So there will be a shadow from the structure here, like this. And then we're going to go around here, follow the contours. Right. There we go. Light is so important. Oh, thank you. Yeah, really taking shape of the shadows. Thank you. Letting your painting dry for a day or so really gives you some great options for coming back in and being, being Mr. Artist about it or Miss Artist. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave out the ladies because I know we all paint, and that wasn't intentional. It was just me speaking off the top of my head here. So there we go. And yeah, you can come right in and get these really great scenes. Now, this kind of work, I am certain that Berkey did on his paintings because not he never did any of his paintings just sitting down at one shot like I try to. You let it dry a little bit, come back, do some stuff, that sort of thing. There we go. Bring some life into the painting and maybe just a little bit on the ship here. There we go. Hell yeah. All right, where am I missing? A little bit over here. I was going to leave a little bit more on there, but I'm not gonna. Then just inside this edge. My poor filbert is it's an older filbert, so it's kind of mooshed. I don't have that like knife sharp edge on it right now. Yeah, there we go. And then maybe a little bit under here because this is like a tab that sticks out. There's a tab that sticks out. There we go. I've ruined a few paintings being impatient, putting in glazes and washes before the paint is dry. Me too. Seriously, Arts of Space, me too. You push it. Sometimes you can get away with it, but a lot of times it's like, nope, not gonna, nope, not gonna do it. You can't make me. The paint will tell you when it's ready, and it will tell you whether you like the message or not. Unfortunately. Okay, I think I've pretty much gotten some of the. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Okay, I'm feeling pretty okay about this. Feeling good. Good enough, right? Okay. Bum ba dum. Gonna give that a wash out here. I will say this, for those of you who wish to try out Casein, absolutely do not let it dry in your brushes. Grabbing my cart here because it will you will get spanked if you leave it. If you leave your brushes with casein in them, it will harden into a brick. Again, casein, a pretty tough paint. Sorry about the hair. Whoop, there we go. All right. Ha. Well, let's see. Take a moment here, and the drink of choice this evening is straight water. Strangely enough, in my little tumbler here. Yeah, we're moving to water. I haven't partaken of the evil drinks in a while. Finding I just don't have the time to devote to being a little under the effects, if you will. So yeah, all right. So at this stage, I'm gonna look at this painting and go, we've got some blues, we've got a little bit of yellows in here. We don't have a lot of warmth. So I'm gonna correct that. Let's see. We've got a little raw umber. I think I'm gonna do a little. I want yellow ochre or raw sienna. I think I'm gonna go. Actually, I should go with the umber. Nope. Making decisions on the fly here. Let's see. Yellow ochre is going to be brighter and more saturated. Raw sienna, less saturated. I'm going to go with the raw sienna. Hey, Cameron, how you doing tonight? Welcome aboard. Good to see everyone in the house tonight. Thank you. Welcome, and hope you're all having an okay time. Seriously, we we genuinely are concerned here with your well-being at the Space Art by Christopher Dahl Studios. So thank you for joining. Come on in. Sit back. We'll get this thing done, right? Okay, I'm going to kind of do the same thing I just did, but I'm going to try it with a warmer color. Oh, CL Fantasy Waves is here. I only have about an hour or two free hours a day after work. I never work on something long enough at one time to worry about dry times. Yeah, that's fair. That's awesome. Painting's looking great. Thank you. Glad I had a minute to drop by. Well, me too. And remember, folks, if you missed the live stream, that's okay. They're on the YouTube channel if you want to catch one. And my next goal is to start dropping more of them onto YouTube. You know, re-edit them and get them into YouTube. So that was kind of my 2025 goal, and here we are in March. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. Thank you. There is a painting I'm working on right now. I don't have it behind me here, but it's an oil painting, and I did the first couple of layers, and I decided I wasn't going to use liquid, which is a medium for oil paint to make it, among other things, dry faster. For those of you who never worked with oil paint, when you just paint straight oil paint onto canvas, that shit'll take like 2 weeks to dry. Holy crap, I'd forgotten. Yeah, so that was actually pretty funny. I was I was like, I have to work on it, but like I had to go from like yellows and oranges over blues, and if you do that when you're not prepared and it's not dry, you end up with this like crappy green that you really don't want to have. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try warming this up a little bit, and maybe this will be subtle, maybe it won't. Oh, there we go. That's actually not bad. We're gonna do that anyway. Yeah, we're gonna give it a little hint of some yellows here. What's nice about this, it's kind of we're kind of in the territory of making it look a little bit like it might be chrome. I never thought of that, but when you render chrome in any fashion, it's really a combination of like, you know, you're doing a reflection of the horizon as if you were in the desert somewhere. So if you were, you know, if you're out in the New Mexico desert with a nice sunset almost, or a nice sunny day, just draw what you would see there, including the ground, and you end up with chrome. And this one's almost going to be like a chrome station at this point. My gosh, maybe. But boom, I worked as an art handler for a day. Ask me why I got ask me why I got fired. Yeah, months, right, Andrew? Holy crap. The worst offender I think in the so far that I've encountered in the world of oil paint is a paint called lamp black. Lamp black is one of the oldest formulations of black known to humans, and it's basically just like, you know, carbon from a fire, I think, mixed in with you know, oil, linseed oil, whatever your oil is, that choice, right? And yeah, that thing was, oh, that was a smudgy mess for months. Andrew for too good looking. You're you're so kind, Wes. No, possible. It's very possible. I'll tell you, Andrew. You know, if I'd been at a painting back at Microsoft, I swear I would have brought some of these in and just like, you know, oil painted in the office. What the hell? That would have been hilarious. Um, I never actually did a full painting while I was at Microsoft. I was out of the game. I was out of the art game at the time, but I did actually start working on an X-wing fighter model that I had years ago. It was kind of a it was kind of my protest. The group was being disbanded and no one was really doing any work, but you had to be in the office because, you know, you had to be in the office. We bought this building. Of course you got to be in the office. So I drive my 2 hours in there, shut my door because I had an office with a door. Worked on an X-wing fighter model. I said, nephew. Did I say nephew? I said nephew, right? Yes. I don't know why I would say that. Yeah. Anyhow. Oh, those were the days. How I missed that. Did we play BF2 at work? Yes, we did. We played BF2 on corporate time. That was great. It's a problem. Some people are cursed with it. Yeah, I know, right? Looking too good? Very much so. Would have been more productive than what we did. I completely agree with you. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. What were we joking about in Discord? Oh, the Bee Movie. Oh man, I swear. I'm not sure where the hatred of the Bee Movie comes from. I guess I don't remember it being that terrible, but yeah, it wasn't my favorite of the movies, but yeah, during one of those group meetings where everyone has to get together and sing Kumbaya, the guy made us watch the Bee Movie. I was like, "What the fuck? My kids have been watching this for days. I've seen this movie like 4 times. Let me just drive home." It was before I got a better sense of, you know, better sense of purpose, if you will. I had that windowless box across from the bathroom. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's right. That was that was really shitty of them. Yes, I do remember that. We played BF1 and Call of Duty at DNA. So much fun. It's fun when you actually have a job where playing the games is part of it. In my brief time, I think I spent 2.5 years as a senior artist for Bethesda Softworks way back in '98 or so. It was just before it was BM before Microsoft. Go figure that the acronym for that is BM, right? Anyway, yeah, we played all sorts of stuff. Oh, that was the first time that StarCraft came out. Warcraft 2. I remember we had some pretty epic inner office battles with Warcraft 2. And then the boss got mad because we were all playing late at night and he couldn't go with the wife of the art director so he could screw her without anyone knowing. So he was mad at us for playing games at the game company. But yeah, that was pretty cool. We used to play Quake late at night in the '90s while building the OG Barnes and Noble site. Yes, Quake. I, I was just remembering my times with Quake. It was so cool. I liked Quake a lot. It was a cool game. I'm telling you, that was a good game. All right, now we need to get. I need to address this thing in here. So let me see what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, we definitely played Warcraft on the LAN. LAN games. That was a good time. Although our car racing game I worked on was definitely one of the first games that allowed 16 all players on each side. Well, no, it was 16 players total. That was unheard of at the time. We were one of the first games that would allow more than 8 um, over your phone dialing system thing. That was pretty cool. It was a good time. All right, I need my Permasol blue, and I'm gonna get this thing on here. You guys ever play the marathon games? That rings a bell, Wes. Oh gosh, see, I kind of dropped out of games for a while, but marathon. What the heck was marathon? Yeah, remind me, Wes. I think so. The name rings a bell. Yeah, I think we played those. Honestly, well, we played them. I honestly think we played them. That'd be the way I would do that. Okay. Uh, I'm fond of the blue tone colors for the interior spaces, so I'm gonna just sort of mix on the. Let me show you what I've got here. I've got a So I've got move this out of the way. I've got some Permasol blue here, some titanium white, and I'm just gonna kind of tint this up a little bit. There we go. Bungie's first games. I think I played. I it rings a bell, but I can't think of it, Wes. I'm trying to think of it. Way before Halo. Right, right. Yeah. Mid 90s. Um yeah, it was like around that Quake time, right? Quake and Quake 2, Doom 2 had just come out, that sort of thing. It rings a bell. It rings a bell for me. Yeah. Put it that way. All right, I'm gonna let's see, just prepping my paint here. Bending that down. All right, and now let's get some. I I like the blue light specials. No, that's we're gonna get some blue in here, and we're gonna see if we can't make this look like, maybe there's an interior in this thing. There we go. Get some of those. Get the light up there. And I just want a few deets. There we are. All that just for that little bit, right? And I would like this time my rose red. Give me a minute to find my stuff. I've got to find. Look, it was the first paint tube I pulled out, and can I find it now? No. There we go. Burnt sienna. Nope. 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 F. Nope. All right. Scarlet alizarin it is. There it is. Rose red. There we go. Boom. I spent dollars playing the Star Wars arcade game. Yes. Oh, the sit down one. Oh, hell yeah. When that thing came out, that was the bomb, right? Oh, similar engine to Doom and Quake. It was a big deal in Marathon 2 when you could look up and down. Ah, that's starting to ring a bell now. It was a fun time for games, right? I mean, it was really things were just breaking out. Like the whole face of gaming was completely changing before our eyes. It was so cool. So cool. Yeah. And I remember, I think it was 1996. I went to Seagraph. Uh, no, yeah, it was like 96. I went to Seagraph, New Orleans. I still have the mug, and they brought in a kid who was the world champion Quake player. Like this was like the dude, right? And they had him set up on there were 4 PCs, LAN connection. He had 4. So it was him against 3 other players. And the goal was, I've got a little pink color here that I'm kind of going to mix in with all of this just to get some tonal differences in here. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm just trying to get the background. Anyway, so this Quake player, I think it was hosted by ATX. It was one of the video card companies at the time. It wasn't Nvidia. I don't even think Nvidia was in the game yet. But if you could beat him one round, like you would get like they were going to give away their newest video card that had like a meg of RAM on the thing. It was unheard of for video cards to have RAM on them. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, let me just walk over and see what's going on there. I walk over to it, and there was a line of about 200 people waiting in queue to play this kid. This guy was shredding everything that moved. Like it was not even it was not even close. In fact, to this day, I've never seen somebody who was such a god tier player of a game just absolutely humiliate like the entire world. Well, at least all the people that were at Seagraph that year. I was like, yeah, no way, man. I'm not even gonna try. I mean, this guy had all the corners memorized. Players would drop in and be dead in seconds. It was. I did stay and watch it because it was hilarious. I think Marathon might have been Mac only. That rings a bell too. Actually, I didn't have a lot of access to Macintosh machines at the time. I was weirdly in my art college like the only PC dude. Um, and mainly is because I was working for an Autodesk VAR. So we were selling AutoCAD, 3D Studio Max, architectural packages, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, so I didn't actually have a lot of access to Macintosh machines, and really the CAD software for Macintosh at the time, forget it. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Um, not they had 3D stuff, right? They had Cinema 4D, I think, at the time, and Maxton was doing a few. Maybe they were the ones actually doing it. Anyway, I found it to be um definitely not up to snuff um at the time. That not me being a snoot, it was just kind of the reality of it. Anyway, nobody rage quit while playing. Oh no, they would. Andrew, I got to tell you, uh, if we're talking the guy at Seagraph, no one had time to rage quit. It was so silly. Like if you could get in and last, like basically you would just appear and a grenade would land in front of you. It was comical. It was so comical. Oh my gosh. I remember friends that took out a loan to buy an SGI. Oh, folks, this was such a weird era for computers. That's I laugh, Andrew, but I too, with another pal of mine, we were very seriously looking at starting up a VFX business, and we were looking at one like Octane 2 station with Alias Wavefront, right? And we sat across from the salespeople, just a place outside of Detroit, and they were showing us all this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, this is cool, yeah. 120 grand for one PC and one seat of software. it was it was so silly. Oh my god. I was like, you got to be kidding. There's no way. Not a chance. John Mark says I'm on CAD tonight and on a Mac. Awesome, very cool. Oh no, it's much better now. Absolutely, always been a Mac guy. There's still a little glitch CAD on Mac, but that I would not trade that for the world. Oh yeah, yeah. That's. I don't mean to. I don't mean to at all belittle Macintosh machines, but seriously, back in the '90s, it was a little nuts. Wes said he started with Cinema 4D and then moved to Lightwave in the '90s. That's right. You got on Lightwave. That was, oh man. I was like this close. I should have got if I had gone Lightwave. I would not have gone 3D Studio Max. I probably would have had a better chance of getting into visual effects instead of being stuck at Microsoft. But hey, I never would have met Andrew. So there we go. We had a friend that worked at Alias in the '90s. That would have been cool, honestly. Maybe it was shit. I'm not sure, but that would have actually been very cool. I bought the DOS version of 3D Studio, got the education discount. I had that as well. So 3D Studio Max R4, I think, was the last one that was DOS only, and then they went to it was just 3D Studio R4. They turned it to Max when they went Windows. I do remember that. Um, Boom, yeah. When we first started using Houdini in 2005, it was 15 grand. That's crazy. Oh, he said it was great then. Oh, cool. It For whatever reason, Alias struck me as like for a while a really cool company. Yeah, I just miss visual effects by that much, as they would have said. Anyhow, while I'm just blabbing on about the past and missed opportunities, I'm adding in these little like racks. Like if these ships are tiny. Once they got in there, they would like nest their way into this docking bay, right? So I'm kind of trying to maybe I'll even like put in a few blobs that are like that's a spaceship. There's one right there. There we go. We'll put another one right, like a little parking garage, right? Um, so yeah, you drive you fly, drive your ship in, and then a valet will take it for you. There we go, and we'll get in some good lights in there. Maybe they've even got arms bringing them in. I don't know. Boom! Back in the '90s, I was on a drawing table with mechanical rulers. Those were the days. Hey, my college degree, we learned traditional drafting and drafting with pencils, and that was cool. I do miss that. In fact, one of the architecture shops that was one of our clients in about 1995, 96. It was an older gentleman. It was a one man shop. He had me come out. He was having trouble getting his AutoCAD system to speak to his printer. It was a little older. It was like one of those large, not I mean not it was a plotter, right? It was like a 4 foot wide plotter, and at the time they used a little. It was a pen plotter, so you would have like your paper would come through, and it had a mechanical jig that would hold a pen like a Cricut, and it would draw all of your stuff. And most of these pen plotters used ink. This guy's pen plotter used pencil. And I had never seen that before. It was like a mechanical pencil, and it would hold like 20 lead, so it never ran out. And the way it fed the lead down through the plotting thing, it actually sharpened. Like every third turn, it was like constantly sharpening itself. That thing made the most beautiful architectural and engineering plots I have ever seen. And I'm like, that is just cool. It was really cool. Andrew says Houdini is like $350 per 2 years for indie artists. That's not bad, honestly. Uh, Not as good as DaVinci Resolve and Blender's price tag, which you could use for free. But Houdini, I would like to. That's on my down the road list. I would like to get into it a bit. Yeah. Rhonda says, and here's little me, worked for Bell and Howell in the 60s. Oh, that would have been, Rhonda, that would have been so cool. Are you kidding? That would have been awesome. Bell and Howell? Oh, you must, wait, what division did you work? Oh, 90s, not the 60s. I was getting worried. Well, the 90s, it wouldn't have been nearly as cool. No. No, Bell and Howell. That would have been fun. Oh, there's a company I would have loved to have gone through their archives. Holy smokes. That would have been neat. Wes says, I used Apprentice at home, but I've been using it for so long, I know how to get around their roadblocks and publish HDAs for use in Houdini. Oh, sweet. That's cool. I did notice that Blender is starting to move towards the HDAs integrating with them. I don't think it's quite there yet. Not that that's going to help you any, because if you've got access to Houdini and Apprentice, you don't need it. Andrew says, I spent the last 2 years in Unreal. That is some cool stuff. Yeah. Houdini's not easy to learn. I I agree. I opened it up and went, nope. You learned it before YouTube even. Holy crap. Yeah, there's like no, I've heard that. There's like no instruction for it at all. Oh man. Yeah, that's YouTube has been tremendous. I've been trying to play guitar on and off my entire adult life, and I think for the first time in 10 years I picked it up again. And YouTube for music instruction is like unheard of. I've learned more in the last 3 weeks I think I'd learned in the previous 5 years of me doing stuff. Yeah. Rhonda says, built the car parts catalog computer systems. Oh wow. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. That would have actually been kind of interesting. I did some work at a few places that supported the auto industry, and I thought it was just kind of being around it was very interesting. It was for me exciting in a weird way. So yeah. Are you a close friend of Nick Bolton? I don't know. Unreal is worse. Written by software developers for software developers. Yeah, so pretty much like every Microsoft product ever. I'm giving a lot of digs to Microsoft lately. They just I just don't care anymore. That's fine. Unreal's easy for me, but I find it very clunky and poorly coded. I wonder, Wes, if with your experience in Houdini, I wonder if that has helped. And there's the environment model in Houdini and Unreal is really unique. I think basically it's distributed in a cool way. Um, I wonder if there's like a little cross effect going on for that. That's cool. Very cool. With some of the first touch screens, car touch screens. Awesome. Yeah, good pal of mine still doing a lot of that up in Michigan. All right. Unreal's it's gotten better. It's not dead yet. I don't want to go into the cart. It's gotten better. Bum bum. Do you know who Wes asked if she knows what he's talking about. I'm trying to remember who the Nick was too. So bear with me. That's funny. I might get there. Before Windows came out, I think it was the 90s, maybe the 80s. Oh wow. So yeah, before Windows came out, what 86? I think I could be 88. I forget. I didn't really have a lot of exposure to computers before. I mean, I had exposure to computers, don't get me wrong. I had very little interest in computers until the late 80s. Yeah. Anyway, bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum. All right, I need to add a little bit of yellow in here, so I've grabbed some cadmium yellow light. I want some I'm gonna sort of predefine some of the shapes in the end. Ooh, wow. Oh, okay. I need some white for that. Okay, let's do that. I kind of want to get in some detail on the ships here. I almost forgot that I'm painting something. You know, that would be terrible for me to forget that. So yeah, moving that out of the way. Windows Windows 3 was 91. Windows 1 was unusable. Yeah, I actually that I can confirm. Yep, can confirm. Um, yeah, that was exciting. Windows has continued to be a nightmare. Must have been the 80s because I was there when they got their first Windows system. Fair enough. Fair enough. I remember seeing it. The parent of a friend of mine was one of the first people I remember seeing had a home computer. This person worked at Oldsmobile out of Lansing, Michigan, and accounting and um, what's the word I'm looking for? Resource management, infrastructure, logistics and infrastructure. So this person was one of the first to have a home computer, um, and it had one of the earliest versions of Windows I remember seeing. And it was, yeah, I was kind of left with like, okay, that's interesting. And I thought not nearly as cool as what Macintosh is doing with their Macintosh computers. So there we go. Me, Mr. Windows guy. Of course, I didn't have a lot of respect for computers at all. I do recall telling my high school. I'm gonna move this over here. I recall telling my high school computer teacher in my senior year. I was struggling and bored. It was the last 3 months of high school, and I could see the end. And I told him I'm never gonna use a computer in my life. Why do I even have to be learning this shit? Hey, if Iridium was here, he would laugh at that because we had the same teacher. Um, and don't get me wrong, he was a good teacher. He was a very good teacher. I learned Pascal and some Fortran, basic programming from this guy. He was very good, very patient. He understood the dynamic that was going on. It wasn't his first rodeo. So yeah, yeah, I will never use computers. Why do I want to learn this? I really should call him up wherever he is and say, I'm so sorry. I ended up working at Microsoft for years. And he'll be like, that explains everything. All right, anyway. Mark says, from my point of view, nothing beats Etch a Sketch. And if colors are needed, a trusty old light bright, and voila, presentation time. And if the client's a little crazy, I'll pull out the spirograph. I love spirograph. They were cool. Loved light brights. Just looked amazing. I unfortunately never had one, but I tell you what, when Star Trek the Motion Picture came out, I swear their control panels looked like light bright stations in a good way. Yeah. Fortran, yes. Oh, why does that bring up so many bad memories? It was crazy. Your poor brainstem. Oh dude, I did CAD in Fortran, and it was literally like programming circles and cuts and lines, and oh, it was miserable. Oh my god, I can't even. I get why this is in college, right? This is in engineering school, computer aided design classes. I'm happy that I had the experience. Never again. Oh my gosh. We learned COBOL in high school. Well, the lords of COBOL, according to the scriptures, mankind will find their way. Oh, I always have to bring it back around to Battlestar Galactica or some other sci-fi show. I don't know if you noticed. Ah, very fun. Tried to, yeah. Sorry, Andrew says I taught myself C out of the KNR book, so many bad pointers. Oh, the KNR books. Oh, that's right. When I was in a bookstore. I was in charge of the computer books department. That was, I think, one of my first big exposures to it. I could see it was becoming computers might be a thing. Shocker. The only programming language I ever got my head around was Python, and my FU is weak. No, Python is really useful. Yeah, like Andrew, I learned enough C and C sharp to get by in the Microsoft years. What was Macromedia's programming language? It was a script language, very similar to JavaScript, very similar to HTML. Uh, they had a name for it. Like it wasn't Lingo. Maybe it was Lingo. I can't remember. I love C. It's easy to get into trouble. I brought down Netcom with a bad CGI script. Yes, yes, awesome. My CGI script titled "How to Bring Down Netcom." Yeah, it's important. It's an important lesson to learn, right? To build breaking code. But yeah, one of the first times I got assigned an actual programming job at Microsoft, I was looking at my manager like going, it was JavaScript. Oh, ActionScript. Yeah, yeah, there you go. ActionScript, which basically, yeah, JavaScript. Um, I forget who it was. Ken Knight. Yeah, it was Ken Knight. He's like, look, we're releasing Commerce Server. We need a media player. I needed to take the media player code and build it out into a module. And I'm like, you need me to do what? He's like, yeah, we're kind of at the end. We got some time. Go do that. I'm like, what? I I'm the art guy. No, it was actually a lot of fun. I learned a ton. That was great. I know how to use Java. Used to. Yeah. Right now I mostly drink Java. Oh yeah, Andrew. Should I be using name? Hey chat, should I be using proper names when I do this? Because honestly, I feel a little weird doing that. Anyway, let me know. All right, we're getting to the fun part, people. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna get some highlights in here. I've mixed up my color. But yeah, the end of the story was I successfully created a video player module that was embedded in the code and the sample e-commerce site. And as far as I know, it never recorded any problems. Like nobody ran back to Microsoft help desk. Nobody complained about it. Maybe not for embarrassing stories. Well, if I can't share their name for the embarrassing stories, why? Well, what good is any of it, right? I I'll never share the real awful stuff unless they end up in jail. In which case, yeah, nobody used it exactly. I do remember I had that discussion. I'm like, who's gonna use this? No. Anyway, there were actually some advertising modules that would call the media player. So like if you had an ad playing on your site and it used a Windows Media Player for really anything, it would call that. So I was always very concerned. In fact, years later, the other non-designery thing I did, the team was like in between projects again as usual, and they had me run the team that was performance and logistics. We want to run extensive tests on the code, see if we can get some performance bugs shaken out of this. And I'm like, again, I'm the fucking designer. I don't do this shit. Why are you putting me in charge? What the hell is your problem? I think it was a warm bodies situation, is what it was. Um, Actually, it went really well. I got into the groove, just became a project manager, and that was my title anyway. So I guess I kind of had to actually live up to the paycheck for a little bit there. Uh, didn't they know I had a very important X-wing fighter model to build? They should have let me do that. Anyway, yeah. If anyone ever wonders why I'm not in the tech industry anymore, yeah, there we go. Just watch my live stream for details, right? Anyhow, Wes says we had some pretty high level TDs bring down NetApp with their code at DWA like multiple times. That's what you get working programmers 80 hours a week. There's bound to be some flaws in that system if you when you're shoving people around like that. That's for sure. All right, now we are getting into the cool. Let's add some details with a sharp brush phase, and I really want to call out this boom here. It doesn't really. register as anything right now, so we're gonna make it register as something. Although I'm gonna mix up a little more of this paint. I need more white. Yeah. It's one thing if you get like crunch time on a project, you're definitely going to get 60 to 80 hours a week. But you know you can't do that every single week and expect good things to happen, right? It's just not. It's problematic. That's the best way you can put it, right? Um, but oh no, we'll just keep doing it. Yes. You never thought you'd be getting project management advice for software engineering companies from a Space Art live stream, would you? There we go. All right. I needed to mix up some more paint, so bear with me. Wes says, when we were on Wild Robot, the farm went down every single day for multiple hours, the general network twice a week. Jeez. I hope they had a ping pong table. I still want to yell at the princess. Oh my god. Oh, how I had forgotten Andrew. Yeah, we won't. There's some names that we will never share. Oh my gosh, what a piece of work that was. Oh my gosh. Man, fevered egos were all the bane of my day to day existence, and probably Andrew's as well. And boy, was that place full of them. Holy smokes. Yeah, plus it didn't help that she'd kind of decided she was going to play us as the bad guy for everything and like, wage a war of terror instead of actually, I don't know, doing her fucking job. But yeah, whatever that actually was. Um yeah, that was exciting. Ah, never mind. Yay, there we go. We had at least 4 to 5 weekends with no farm access on that film. Oh my gosh, that's heinous. I mean, I get it. You do the best you can with what you got, right? And I'm sure people were sweating. I'm I'm guessing, but that's kind of yikes, right? Anyhow, yeah, we're just gonna work on this thing here, add some details. I've actually forgotten the real name. Oh, we'll live longer, Andrew. I promise. I took away your ping pong tables. Oh my gosh, no! You can't do that. I think that was my favorite part of working in these crazy places. They there was this design philosophy of the offices where basically they want it to look like a daycare center, right? Like that became the way to attract talent. Um, and now when they pull everybody's offices and make them work in open cubicles, I think they basically want the whole thing to look like, yeah, a daycare center. Oops, I kind of made this flat. I think I need to bring it up just a bit more like this. So I'm gonna work this a little bit, and we'll come back in after the white on a few more passes. But yeah, I don't mean to completely badmouth this part. As I said, the princess. Don't get me wrong. There were plenty of male princesses at Microsoft that I swear I could write books about how terrible that was. She got fired. Was it? She got fired after her first show. Unbelievable ego. Oh man, that's crazy. Andrew says I worked at the Post Group when they were creating the first NLE using. Oh wow, Laserdisc. There was a shop in Chicago I visited in my film days that were using those for TV commercials, and it was crazy. Yeah, banks of Laserdiscs, right? Were they the big ones too, like the really big, like a big freaking disc? I remember those. Yeah. Ba-da-bum-bum. It's the farm control software and the queuing system. Oh, right, right, right. Gotcha. All right. Anyway, back to spaceships and not thinking about the princess. Thanks, Andrew. Jesus. No. I am having a blast tonight. I want to thank all of you because this has been what I needed tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Let's get some. Hey, you know what? I forgot. I can actually let's do that. All right. Modern farms are arrays of Linux machines with incredible specs running Houdini render engine in parallel. Oh, sweet. The DWA render farm is over 40K render units. Oh man. How fast do you think they'd render my little intro there, Wes? Probably in like, 38 seconds, right? If that. Nanoseconds. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. They were automating dailies edits. Okay, gotcha. That's really cool. Yeah, I kind of miss not having gotten into not just visual effects but film production. It's I we lost David Lynch recently, the famous film director, and really one of my movie heroes, if you will, in many more ways than the sum of his movies. I think that guy was fascinating on many levels, and he started as a painter. That's what he was, being a fine artist before he got hooked into movies, which is great. 40K, that's awesome. Still isn't enough. Oh, believe me, I believe that isn't enough. Given the Herculean scenes that everyone is pushing through movies these days, yeah, I can see that. Not enough. Like, what? You only have 40K? I'm sure there's a lot of that. Well, we've got 20K, but they work all the time. Yeah. Nah, I watch anything on my phone. Quality schmality. That's right. That was one of the David Lynch things. He wasn't fond of the phone. Anyway, I found it interesting that he's a person that clearly made his mark really in motion pictures, and he really had a um disdain, if you will, for the craft. If you he I remember him saying, like, I someone asked him, would you be sad if film went away, meaning it was all digital? He's like, hell no, it's terrible. Anyway, I love it. So the cross connection is always there, right? I to a certain degree, I regret it. I think I'm sure I would have had just as chaotic of a life as I had outside of it, but I don't know. I was kind of like keeping my ear to the ground on it. Cool. My personal workstation was 96 cores, 1 terabyte of RAM, and I ran out of resources all the time. Yeah, but you were doing, if I'm not mistaken, you were doing tornadoes and wind simulations. Yeah. I tried meditation, it didn't work. Yeah. The transcendental meditation. Yeah, I don't have patience for that. David Lynch was big into the meditation thing. That was his. He was certainly a big proponent of it. 12,000K per, or 12K per, yeah, 12,000K per machine. HP Z800 sounded like a 747 taking off when I ran a simulation. Man, Wes, that stuff's cool. That's cool. I envy you that. That would be, I know, fun and stressful, but yeah, that's some cool stuff. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I we used to run on the fastest machines, possible back at Bethesda, at least the fastest they could afford to buy, and running the software that they could most easily crib instead of actually buying seats of anything. That was exciting. Yeah. All right, this is taking me forever, but I'm having fun, and I hope you are too, because it's actually a really fun time. I'm 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 doing some things. All right, let's get some detail in on this. I think this is going to turn out to be a little bit of a mess on this interior for a while, so I'm going to elect to not worry about it. I'm going to keep painting in these little white details. Not white, it's like I have a little blue in it. I have a little touch of raw sienna, so it's not 100% white. but by calling out these little edges where you would get highlights, I'm hoping to make it read as metallic and of a very large scale. Yeah. All right, Andrew, taking off. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you have a good night. That's cool. Thanks for coming by. Wes says hardware's come ridiculously far since I started this in 2001. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it, Wes? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's totally nuts. Can't believe modern display cards. Right. Seriously. Cheers. Hey, David Irons is here. How you doing? Just realistic. You're on live now. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to have everyone in. See, Andrew, you just made room for David. There you go. Go make some dinner for the wolves, the dogs. Yeah, we're I'm getting we need to get better. Which reminds me, if for those of you who are in Discord or if you happen to be here, leave me your thoughts. What are some good days and times that you would like to see more of Space Art by Christopher Dahl live? Because I want to do a few more days. We want to open up the process a little bit, get a few more in here, you know, that sort of thing. There we are. And yeah, having a good time. Let me know what's a good day. I keep thinking I need to do an afternoon, right? By doing an afternoon, I can probably make it easier for folks in Europe. Uh, and possibly the New Zealand folks. There's a couple of our pals in New Zealand. Thank you very much. In Australia, I don't get a chance to see. I don't. Yeah, I need to change up my times. So that will be a good thing. Plus, I want to do more of the finished paintings, and I find that letting them sit for a day works out nicely. So we're gonna get some fine lines in here, get a few down there, get a few on up in this. There we go. So let me know. Very cool. Alrighty then. Let me see. I'm gonna call out some highlights on here, and I think I need a little more detail up in this thing. Yeah, there we go. New Zealand sheep watch the stream. Hey, yeah. Sheeps and bunnies, sheeps and bunnies. West. No, we've had some folks from New Zealand. I've it in the laundry list of countries. New Zealand has shown up a few times, as has Brazil, which is really cool. And I've had some folks out of Germany, uh, England. Not as many from France, but that's about to change with my upcoming YouTube video. Keep an eye out. Da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. I keep promising things and I don't deliver. I realize this is a problem that I need to work on. So there we go. But alrighty, let's move on to a couple of things up here. I'm not going to get too carried away, but I do want a few bits on there. And let's get to the ships. Da-da-da. Haha, yeah, change everything for us here in New Zealand. Hey, maybe I'll just come to New Zealand. You got a sofa there, David? Can you hold 20 cats? That's the important questions here. Yes. Can I ship my Fleetwood Bounder motorhome and would it be welcome? There we go. Nah, that's the most I'll say about that. There we go. Nah, I really appreciate you coming back in. I know I've been terrible since the move. I feel like the move really threw me, and I haven't recovered well. But we're working on it. It's you know it's a work in I'm a work in progress. This is a work in progress. We're gonna make it work. Da 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 da. Getting a few of these in here. I don't really. It's weird though. This ship, being that it's in the foreground, doesn't have as much detail as I would have expected. So I kind of feel like I'm letting down the ship here. And I keep painting the same ship design. You notice that it's like this weird cruciform, but in different scales. So I got to get away from that. I don't know. It's very strange. Bum 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 ba bum. Spaceship, spaceship, spaceship. It's important to talk through your process, right? So spaceship. weird laser gun thing off the side, and same with this guy right here. There we go. Actually, I joke. I would absolutely love to visit New Zealand sometime. That would be that's been like on the bucket list for me for a long time, really as long as I can remember. It is regrettable that I haven't been able to do the travel like that. Yes, but very happy to have you here tonight. Thank you. Righto. And let's get some flame jets in here. Get some little bits on there. We'll nicen this up later. Right now we just kind of need the shapes in there a little bit. That's where we go. Just got an idea. You go to New Zealand, wake up to do one for us at Detroit time zone, 8 in the morning. Oh man. I have done international travel enough to realize that when I try to meet a time zone for a meeting back here, like the day after I travel, oh, it's bad news. Oh, it's so bad news. I really, whew, that was fun, but not so much. So I don't think I want lights in front. I don't think I want light colors in front. Let me see. I want light color in front, maybe just a little touch there. That might be discordant. I'm not sure, but it also might just work. Yeah. Or go see a Rocket Lab launch. I would love to see a Rocket Lab launch. I'm not gonna lie. I think that would be super cool. Um, yeah, I actually kind of any rocket launch. Yeah, I that was one of the goals of getting here, having the ability to take the motor home, go down, go see some sights, and see a rocket launch occasionally. Hasn't happened. Well, it we we need to sell more paintings, folks, before that happens. Let's put it that way. That's all right. X-wing attack. Hey, David M. Kelly, how you doing tonight? Yeah, we're spaceshipping, sir. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, we'll get there. It's been a tough time. It's been a tough time for artists. When things are a little dicey, nobody wants to invest in art, and I can't blame them. That's be fine. We're getting by. The cats would say otherwise, but that's okay. You got here just in time, David. I'm to the point where I'm adding all the little fiddly bits of fun stuff. So yeah, very exciting. In fact, I probably should come in here and do a couple. Let's get these out of there. There we go. You're okay. Good. I'm glad to hear you're okay. That's we're kind of us too. He says with a heavy sigh. Oh, is it over yet? Nope. Fudge. So yes. Anyway, yeah, David, you too. What's a good time for you to see live streams? Let me know. I'm taking a general survey. I'm definitely going to try to get one in that'll be easier for the folks overseas, New Zealand, and so forth. Yeah, those cats and their ridiculous raw meat requirements. How dare they, right? Little bums. Yeah. Although we don't do the raw food stuff for cats. That always seemed a little dicey to me, and it turns out so far all the bird flu blah 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 the bird flu caught in cats, apparently a lot of it, the, the one common thread is they all use the raw food for cats that has been so popular. Apparently that is a pretty major transition, or maybe a suspected transition effect. It's just strange that has been happening to the raw food one. So yeah, so much so. Don't go hunt your own elk. You know, we we have so many deer in our backyard. I'm not kidding. I really could just like pop the back window open and take one out. Actually, you wouldn't even need to do that. I think I could go out with a garrote and just like wrestle one down if I really wanted to. Just wrestle it down, haul it into the garage, look left, look right. No one would notice. And it is Pennsylvania, so we have groundhogs too. We have fresh groundhog meat this week. Yes, we're we're in. Oh my God, what strange direction are we going in tonight? Yes. 8 p.m. is usually good for you. Okay, cool, cool. Well, I'll keep that one in mind. And I've talked about this before, but one of the reasons I want to add more days to the live stream so I could do like the models and we can do longer paintings and such. So yeah, and maybe I could do more demonstrations of technique instead of me just sort of like rambling through. Here we go, rambling through some of these. I think that would be good. And I've cleared the deck. I just finished. I think I'm pretty much finished. There's a book cover I shared on my Patreon that I just finished. So I'm gonna have a little more time finally to get in and finish some of the YouTube videos that have been. I've recorded so much stuff, everyone. It's crazy how much I've actually recorded. So worked on some models, worked on some paintings, um, done a few just sort of general shop things, and yeah, we're I got some fun stuff. It's gonna be weird. Like I've been collecting content. I just need to get the damn stuff edited and finished and posted. So yeah, that'll be exciting. And suddenly I'll be like, the goal is so that I can post once a week, post a new video, so that I've got a good cadence. It's not backed up by my camera shutting down or any of that shit. And yeah, I've got about two almost finished in the pipeline, and another two more. So we're gonna get there. Yeah. Let's see. Gonna be roadkill season soon, right, Rhonda? Oh, no kidding. If you catch a deer in your garage, does castle doctrine apply? Yeah, I would stand your ground. All right, deer. Bam. Oops, you're in PA. I thought you were in Michigan. Oh yeah, Jean Marc. Yeah, we're I grew up in Michigan, and we lived in Washington State for most of our adult lives. But in moving back, we landed in Pennsylvania. We're in a little town that is very supportive of the arts and has a very cool, creative community. It's a very small town. We're almost in what they would call a food desert, but we do have a lot of good local produce and producers. It is the most rural town I have ever lived in my life. Sometimes I question my sanity, but so far our experience has been pretty good. So yeah, we looked in Michigan. We were Michigan was definitely one of the targets, right? But uh, there were a lot of contributing factors that made us go. You know what? This one in Pennsylvania gets us a lot. And it's access to things like New Jersey, New York. Um, there's a lot of cities that we now have drivable access to for all those shows that I'm not going to. No, I'm just kidding. I will be at Wonderfest again this year, Louisville, Kentucky. Actually, it's my first time having a what do you call it? Having a table. I have to move this back. Sorry about that. So yeah, deer can be pretty vicious. Watch for the headbutts and kicks. Gotta watch out for the little bastards. They're terrible at that. Oh, hey, Iridium's here. How you doing, Iridium? Hey, greetings. Sorry, I missed you there. Awesome. I hear PA deer are packing these days. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Little bums. Raoul Duke, permission to come aboard. Welcome aboard, Raoul Duke. There we go. Hello. Oh, yep. And access to Cleveland. That's true, Rhonda. It's funny. We haven't actually driven back that direction really, and I it's almost been a year since no, we were in Michigan last summer. I forgot. We did go through last summer, but it's been a while since we've done a few of those. So yeah, absolutely. We've got to swing over. I've been promising that for so much. We're kind of yeah, we're we reached the point where all the fun money's gone, so we're sort of working out the process of living by our means. So it's been a little trickier to get to get all the fun things done. You know, buying new toys, that's off the agenda. That's all right. Now we'll get back to it. Waves back. Yeah, I forgot what day it was. Ah, it's okay. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining. I understand. Moved from Montreal to a town of 1,600 souls. Would not go back. Yeah, I will say this. I love the traffic here. Oh no, the horror. Yeah, living by our means. I know, it's terrible, right? Alrighty. Well, let's see. What do we want to do here? I feel like I'm kind of getting to the almost to the effects thing. This little glow. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm glad I did this because it means I'm like, this is like glowing and it's reflecting light right in here. Ah, I love it. I love it. I need to do some of those down here. Let me see if I'm ready for that yet. Almost. Whoop, where's my paint? Where's my paint? Drying up on my palette. I'm gonna dot in a few window things here. That's the technical term, and we'll just see what we can do. Um, there we go. We're gonna get some windows in. That's important because this is really kind of what makes it, right? You get into these shadow zones, and you got to be like, hey, where's all the people? They're right there. There we go. Yeah. And I get to get more paint out. There we go. I'm a little late to the stream. What's the story of the space station? An intergalactic foosball training station. I was thinking of you, Raoul Duke. Oh, Radium says he likes this one a lot. Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun. This is the one we started last week, and it's an industrial space hugger. Professional hugging in space. Yeah. So the story was it's twofold. One, I always liked the ship that was at the beginning of the Planet of the Apes movie, 1990. They had a ship that's very similar to this. It's like a space station. And two, way back when I was that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Don't do that. Okay, way back when I was getting back into digital art, I did a similar station. Yeah. Oh, Rondo, we're doing stars. Yes, indeed. Very soon here. Just before I got a couple of things before I get to them, but we're getting there. Yes. Is it still under construction or was there an accident? I think it's a little bit of both, Raoul Duke. I want to feel like, and there's the ship approaching it, right? I feel like it's you know, it's a work in progress. It's sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like Deep Space Nine, a place a place for travelers, right? Intergalactic outpost, if you will. I'm always fascinated by that. You're out in the middle of wherever. There's got to be a McDonald's in here, right? There's got to be must be a must be a canteen there somewhere, right? It must be a canteen in the Death Star, some place where everyone could get their lunch. That's kind of what this is. Cool. David says, I moved from a small town in the UK, population 1 million, to a small town in Ontario, population a couple of thousand, but very spread out. Wow, small town in UK. Who has a population of 1 million in the UK? That's smaller than London, right? Here we go. Yeah, the parts are back ordered. It's a renovation. We're we're putting in an addition. They didn't want just foosball, right? So now they're going to put in, that's where this is where the curling alley is going to be, because we want to break things out a little bit, right? We don't just want to do foosball. So yeah, let me get a few of these little lights in here. Quark's Bar, where everybody knows your name. Exactly. How many of you here got to go to the Las Vegas Star Trek experience before it shut down? They had a Quark's Bar there. It was kind of a fun experience. I mean, it was very touristy, but for those of us who love this sort of thing, I had a good time in it. And Quark's Bar, it was overpriced. The food was not memorable. The drinks were pretty, and but it was fun. Yeah, that's all that was important, right? Just that was fun. So yeah, small is Einsteinian. It's all relative. I see what you did there. Yes. Awesome. All right. Let's see. We're gonna get some more windows here for the space station. We're gonna put a few. Yeah, I imagine this top tower is probably like, this is where the managers stay. So this is, this is where the CEOs live because they have to be away from the little people. Otherwise, their clothes might stink. They might get the refuse of the everyday ordinary people on them. So we give them the giant dick-shaped tower for them to live in. Yes, as meets their merit, right? We must respect the CEO. Right. Give him the tower. Sorry. Yep. Yep. Got the rap of Khan. would the would the rap of Khan be something I don't know, is that a 4/4 beat or is that a little different? Yeah. Oh, I can't even do it. If I were good at beatboxing and instantly coming up with a rap for Khan, I would totally do it right now. And I'm not even gonna try. It would be miserable. The last thing you want to see is a almost 60-year-old guy rapping ever, right? It's 60-year-old white guy specifically. I not even gonna do it. I won't ruin your day. It won't ruin your evening. And I certainly don't want to insult the art. Just even don't insult the art. Very, very important, right? So we're gonna get all the windows in. Why did I make so damn many window spots? What was I thinking here, people? We'll put a few down here, down along there. There we go. We'll put a few just here, here, and here. Oh, we gotta have a bunch in this one too, right? There we go. Yeah. This one's been a fun project. I've been very I liked the notion of it. I just didn't expect it to be this fun. So yeah. Oh yeah, the other inspiration for the station, the space dock that was shown in Star Trek Theory: The Search for Spock and was then used in many other Star Trek productions. I really dig that space. It looks like a giant mushroom in space, right? Um, and not in a phallic way. It's just kind of how the thing looks. I always like that. I always really like that station. Damn, that's looking hot, if I may say so myself. It was a dry turkey thing with dry tortilla. Oh no, no, no. It was horrible. The wrap of Khan is a terrible, terrible dinner choice. Oh no. That's the last thing you want. You really don't want your wraps to be dry like that. Um, uh, by the way, Iridium. Side note. Matt W says hi. I managed to get a hold of him. We'll have to arrange a conference call. I think so. Yay! I don't know if he's shown up to watch the live stream yet. I keep trying to talk him into it, but yeah, that would be a good time. Old high school friends unite. Yes, very exciting. Oh man, he. We were just talking about Mr. Levine earlier too, Iridium. I was sharing with them my story about how I told him I would never have to. I didn't think I was ever going to work with computers, so why should I learn it? Oh man, I tell you, so bad, so bad. All right, I got some cadmium red scarlet here, and I'm gonna get out some orange, some red, and let's see if we could do some damage here, right? That's right, Pascal. We were talking, but before you showed up, we were all relating the different programming languages that we all got exposed to over the years. And I think by and large, Fortran seems to have generated the most ire. Like nobody wanted to do Fortran with good reason. Nobody wanted to do CAD with Fortran anyway. That's for sure. Yeah, he was. No, I like Mr. Levine a lot. He was a cool dude. and I appreciate his patience, I think is what I said. All right, let's brighten this up with some cadmium orange, right? Let's get in here and do some damage, shall we? Yeah, we are gonna get in and do some serious bright orange. This is where we kick in the color like a mofo. There we go. Yeah. Pascal was okay, yeah. He would throw chalk at you if you got the answer wrong. Oh, wait a second. I thought that was Mr. Edwards. Oh, I don't remember. Did he throw chalk at you? Oh, oh, I don't remember. I don't remember Mr. Levine being that violent. Remember, for all the younger generation, we used to use chalk in school. It wasn't dry markers. Yeah. No, I definitely Mr. Edwards, my sociology teacher. Yeah, he had some of the real jerks. I mean, they had some we had some jerks in those classes. Oh, and erasers. See, I could see that. I'd bounce an eraser off of somebody's head if they weren't paying attention. This was the 1980s. I don't think we could get away with it now though. But yeah. But holy smokes, Mr. Edwards, man! I tell you what. Like I said, we had a couple of real jerks in my class, and they were terrible, which is sad because I actually genuinely liked the courses that he taught, and he did a good job of it. And more than once, he that guy fired chalk to a point where it exploded, and we had like rain of chalk all over the place. That's woohoo! I was like, damn, Edwards, next time don't miss. Like, get him right in the head. I mean, it went right over this guy's head. I'm surprised he wasn't hauled out and having a little talking to by Mr. Weaver of the Grand Blanc Police Force. But yeah. Anyhow, yay. I'm just gonna add in some of the color that's gonna make this thing sing, and I'm just gonna keep going until I'm happy with it, right? So yeah. This ship does not have enough lights in it, though, I think. So we're going to add a few in here. We'll add a couple of those. Oh, those were the days, right? Yeah, the violence inherent in the system, right? Help, help, I'm being repressed. Yeah, Mr. Edwards, though. Sorry, I didn't get it. As much that made me think of Mr. Edwards. He was the one responsible for teaching us the government class, sociology, and a few others. Government was particularly hilarious because we wanted to discuss things like class, right? There was maybe it was sociology, I forget which. Anyway, one of them we were discussing different class structures. So he brought in a movie to help us understand it. It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Well, there's a couple of times where they mention class warfare. It's the violence inherent in the system, that kind of thing. But help, help! I'm being repressed. Now that was his favorite teaching mechanism. Yeah, that was cool. He brought in the best movies, though. He brought in Harold and Maude. Challenging. Taxi Driver. I remember seeing Taxi Driver for the first time in my high school sociology class. Um, I mean, yeah, Robert De Niro, freaking Taxi Driver, man. It was cool. Still one of my favorite movies. What else? The Graduate. I remember he brought that in. He was a big fan of The Big Chill. I was never that one didn't take to me. I appreciate what it did, and I love the acting in it, the actors, but it was never my favorite of the movies out there of that era. Anyway, did I bore everyone? I'm sorry. I'm talking about old teachers in Grand Blanc. That's so silly. Why? It's fun. We had some crazy times. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got like a little smudge here that I'm going to turn into a crazy antenna out in the middle of nowhere. So we'll do that. All right. We are going to. I keep detail. I can keep doing this for the entire time. Hand-coded assembler in hex. Symbolic assembler, COBOL, BASIC, C, C Sharp, C++, Pascal, Java, JavaScript. Yep. You can always tell when someone's been through the ringer. Yeah, C sharp. Yeah, there we go. My fault. No, it's not your fault. No, we were doing this earlier, Iridium. I promise you. This is before you showed up. So I'm actually glad you're here to share the stories because we had to have some of us that were actually like there, confirming this, of course. Um, yeah. All right, now we got to get him some. I got a little red. Look at that little red here. I'm going to bring this on in, and this is also going to help us with the supporting the notion of this light down here, this red light. So we're going to get that in here. Going to give this ship a bit of a glow, if you will. There we go. Yeah, this is the shit right there. There we go. It's a ship. I said shit. That's okay. Anyway, cool, cool. We'll get this one in. We'll get a little bit under here on this guy. Yeah. Little bits up in here. Maybe just a few more swipes along this. There we go. Just to add a little bit more to that. And we're almost to the kind of almost to the point where I can do some stars. I haven't flung stars on this show in weeks, months, maybe even. Oh, I got lights to put on over there. That's right. We're gonna do some lights over there too. There we go. Adding a few of those. A few bits of red on here is not gonna hurt anything. There we go. We had a math teacher who locked a kid up in a metal cabinet, then tumbled it down the stairs from 3 floors up. What'd you go to a Catholic school? Holy crap. I can say that. I went to a Catholic school. And they were like that too. They would do shit like that. Holy crap, that's nasty. Serious stars withdrawals here. Okay, we're almost there, Rhonda. I swear. I just keep seeing a few things. I've got a little darker red. I kind of want to touch in here in these areas just to give it, a little bit of pizzazz. These little red stripes that I keep putting, and I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I it does two things. It adds detail that probably you'd never notice necessarily, but it also helps balance the color palette a little bit. Cause I don't quite have I have red here, I have little bits of it over there, but not entirely on there. Not only are we going to have stars, but I'm going to be able to peel off. There's actually I don't know if you notice this. There's tape on here, so we're actually going to kind of have a tape reveal, which we haven't done in a very long time. So yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah from the chat? Yeah, this is going to be cool. All right, let me bring this back a little bit. There we go. Wanted to red that up just a bit and get a little bit here. There we go. Oh man, I tell you what, this is being difficult for me. I love putting flames in space. It's just kind of a weirdness that I have on my own. Okay. It's funny. This painting doesn't have a lot of blue, but there is some like right in there. And I'm just gonna grab a little bit on our little station here. We would like some lights in the windows on this side. And of course, it's the kind of station that has artificial gravity, anti-gravity, antimatter. Does that mean it doesn't matter? There we go. So Iridium, I don't know if I posed the question to you. Let me know in the Discord if what would be good days, additional days for a live stream. I want to try to break out and do some extras, right? Do some more. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Hockey stick, hockey stick. See your hell yeah? And give you a yeah, baby. Seriously. Awesome. Thank you. So cool. There we go. Alrighty, folks. I think. Ooh, need some water. Hang on. I've just been blabbing the whole time. But yeah. This painting is great as always. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. There are times that I feel like the quality has slipped a little bit, and maybe that's the case, but tonight, redemption. Okay. I'm gonna prep for this a little bit. I'm gonna slide my laptop away a little bit so that I don't get anything on it. Okay. Now I'm not gonna try to cover things. I could try to cover things up. What do I have here that could cover things up? Oh yeah, here we go. These are. Oh my gosh, this is funny. I I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I do it this way. This is a this is a template that I made for the Orion constellation, and I airbrushed stars on it. So we're gonna use this. We're gonna use this piece of plastic too, because I'm gonna try to cover it up so I don't hit the station too much, right? So there we go. One of your faves, thank you. Yes, we are doing stars. We are doing stars. Orion. Yay. I could just put that down and we can have Orion on here, but I don't know if I'm going to do that necessarily. Okay, we're going to do that, and I need one other thing. I need a thing. Can I do this? Yeah. I'm just going to sort of give myself some options here just so I don't fling stars everywhere. All right, I'm mixing it on up. I'm so sorry we don't yet have our icons that we used to have on Twitch. It's killing me. I'm like this close, people, this close to doing to getting our custom icons back on YouTube. I am so close. Alrighty. Stars and stars. Let's see here. I'm gonna check this out. Let's do a test first, shall we? Hold on. Ah! All right. I'm gonna test it on my desk. There we go. I think we're good. I'm gonna a little bit chunk it up a bit more and bring this on back. This used to be wood color before I started the first live stream over 4 years ago. So yeah, actually we're starting year 5, which is really cool. Alrighty, folks. We have the brush. Here we go. We've got the brush. I'm going to move this down here, and we'll work on this top corner here. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Let's get some stars. Oh, look at that. Woohoo! We'll do some more there, and then we'll do some more there. Oh, sorry. I'm going to move it over. Move it over so we can see it. I'll do a few more. Boop. Now let's see if we can't get some right in here. Yeah, try to get them like right in here, not too much on the ship, right? There we go. Some in the bottom corner down here. Oh, that's just fun. Ah, that wasn't so fun, but I'm going to leave it. I don't care. That's part of the art, right? That's the art. And then a little bit down in this corner there, just a few. There we go. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I may, yeah, just a couple of bigger ones up here. There we go. Yeah. All right. I'm going to set that down. Paint off my fingers. Let's see how it looks. There we go. I got a little bit up here. Let's see if I can't do a few more in the top. Let me pull this down so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There's a little gap right here by the station head there. So I'm going to use my arm to sort of, there we go. A little bit there, a little bit, just more. There. Oh, look at that. Almost perfect. Cool. Whoop. A little bit on the side. I'm not worried about the splotchy ones because this paint is actually watered down pretty good. So I don't think all of these stars are really going to be very visible by the time it's over. We'll see. Alrighty, there we go. Look at that action. And I'm going to move this back up a little bit. There we go, folks. I'm going to present to you. Actually, let me do one last little thing. I've done stars. Oh, there's a couple in there too. Let me get a few in here. Just gonna do these by hand just to get a few. It won't be the same density, but that's okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Arts of Space. I appreciate it. That's fun. Okay, that's not an oops, it's a nebula, right? It became a globular cluster. I love chat. You guys are see, now you're right on it. I exactly. I meant to do that. Alrighty, before I go taking the I gotta take the tape off. That's half the fun there too. But let me get a little signature on here. Alrighty. If anyone is so inclined, I will photograph this after the live stream, and tomorrow it will be up on the website. So you too could own your very own live stream painting. No pressure. I know you've all been super supportive, all of you here. Thank you so much. Just being here is awesome. So no pressure. I'm just throwing that out there for the folks that might watch this later. There we go. Oh man, I'm actually pretty happy with this. Let me turn my face off for a second. We're gonna have a face off. Haha, hockey humor, right? Let me see if I can get this. This tape, when it sits for too long, can sometimes pull the paper. So I'm just gonna go gently on this. But I this is my I love this. I love this part. Great for the 2026 calendar. Thank you. I agree. I am so a lot of times I'm kind of like on the paintings. It takes me a while to warm up to. This one I'm very happy with it. I am, and this might have been exactly the sort of therapy that I needed, sort of firing off 300 rounds of automatic rifle stuff. Anyway, sorry. For those of you that don't live in the United States, they give you guns the minute you're born, so everyone has guns. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's see. Oh, it's looking good, looking good. I know I just went off camera. I'm going to turn it over so we can see the rest of it. All right, there we go. Looking good. Now, I typically don't. I tried varnishing Casein paintings. I like it and I don't. I like the effect of varnish. Adding a clear coat to any painting really pops some of the colors, but I find that Casein, the colors for Casein are so vibrant, it doesn't need it. And Casein on its own, when it absolutely dries and cures, is very tough. So it almost doesn't need it for protection purposes either. Some may argue that. I would disagree. It's also these are pretty UV stable paints from what I understand. But here we go. Um, well, now I need to name it. Oh no. I don't have a name for the painting. What am I gonna do? Oh no. Here we go, folks. Let's give it a shot here. That's the beast. Yay! Here we go. Straight up. Fun. Here we go. Thank you. Oh, H Mills has a question. How often do I stream? Well, that's what we're kind of sorting out right now, H Mills. Right now it's every Wednesday night, Wednesday evening, East Coast time, US. I've been threatening to add more days to it. I've skipped some days this year just because things got crazy, but I want to lock down some more days. So right now, for sure, Wednesday evening, and I'll leave a link in the chat here for my Discord. I'm currently taking there we go. I'm currently taking suggestions of alternate days. I want to add one or two more days during the week. I know it's a lot. but I want to do it. So if you have any suggestions, please feel free to join the Discord. If you have any comments or anything, I always post um, photos. I like any live stream painting that I do. I'll post photos there as soon as I can in the in the Discord. And it's open to everyone too, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. That's really fun. I'm happy with this one too. Contest to name it, right? That's not a bad idea. I'll take name suggestions for it too. Andrew says, "Yep, looks good. Thank you." And CL Fantasy Wave says the tape pull was satisfying, fun. It's been a long time since I've done one of these paint. I don't think I've done a Casein painting like this since not this size anyway, since the move. So yeah, I enjoy the I enjoy the tape pull off as well. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good time. I'll subscribe and turn on my notifications. Thanks, H Mills. Yeah, there's more coming up. I'm working on some YouTube content, not only paintings but the spaceship models that are going to be kind of fun and different. Andrew says evenings are good for you. Any day of the week. Cool, awesome. I'd like to do another day, and then I want to get some afternoon times in. So I think the next one that I'll introduce will probably be afternoon, but then another one will be another evening one. Also, if anyone's interested, I'm also going to start the Patreon only live streams here really soon. I think we have enough people on my Patreon now where I can make that a thing. So yeah. Andrew says, do you do any digital art or stay more traditional? I do both. In fact, I just shared just today on my Patreon page a really fun science fiction book cover that was entirely done on a Cintiq. I've got a Cintiq over here in the studio. I use Clip Studio. I used to use Photoshop and a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I do digital. I do traditional. Build models. Kind of all the above, anything space and sci-fi. So yeah, happy to do both. Good night, sir, Jean-Marc says. Good night, Jean-Marc. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're able to stick around for the evening. It was really fun, and yeah, I think I'm gonna thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. All the new folks, all the regulars. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I needed this evening. I needed this painting. Kind of settled my soul. Alrighty, everybody. I'm going to close it out for tonight. Everybody have a good week. We'll definitely see you next Wednesday, and I'll post when the next live stream comes up if we can pull the trigger on it in the next week here. I want to get those going. Look out on my community channel on YouTube or on the Discord. I'm also on Blue Sky now, which has been turning out to be very good. So Blackbird CD at Blue Sky. I don't have any links for that yet. I'm going to leave you with my regular outro, everybody, where you can see a bunch of them. Thank you. Take care, everyone. See ya. Let me get the outro. You'll see a bunch of star paintings.
All right, so I've taken my white paint with my little fan brush here, and let's just see how crazy this goes. This is where I throw paint everywhere. That just kind of gives it an air of legitimacy that it doesn't deserve. You know?
I have Bob Ross the shit out of this painting.